Hello, cuties! Today we're going to do some classic, and by that I mean we're going to read some Emma's Asshole Reddit stories. So buckle in and let's begin. And our first story of today will be from Best of Reddit Updates Reddit, and the title is Emma's Asshole for sending my offer to bake cakes for my friend's wedding and potentially ruining their relationship. Original post was posted on February 22nd, 2021, so more than 4 years ago, even 5, I would say. True preface, this wedding wasn't going to happen until COVID clears up. I'll be using fake names. Those involved are me, 22F, the bride friend Cassie, 24F, and her fiance, Adam, 25M. Cassie has always loved my cakes and asked me to make 8 for her wedding late last year. We agree there'd be one tire case to be used as table centerpieces. I love the idea. We agreed that they'd be decorated a particular way that wasn't too elaborate. I was happy with the arrangement and super excited by the prospect. Early January, she decided she wanted three tire cakes instead and wanted them decorated much more intricately. The intricacy wanted is nowhere near my ability. I don't really have the free time to learn how to do it either. I have a lot on my plate in my day-to-day life, and I knew even doing the one-tire cakes would be a little tricky, but absolutely manageable. I politely said I couldn't do that and tried to offer a compromise. I offered to find a way to do three-tire cakes, but more simplistic than she'd have liked. I also offered to get her in contact with a skilled friend of mine who I knew could do what she wanted. She'd have to pay, but the price would have been extremely good and they'd be beautiful cakes. Worth every penny. She got very angry at this compromise effort. She called me selfish and told me I was sabotaging her big day. Then demanded I do it for her while getting a few of her friends to send me rude and disheartening messages. This was heartbreaking for me, but I told her I could no longer do the case and she got angrier. We haven't talked since that until yesterday. I received a message yesterday, acting like nothing happened, asking to do the cakes again because I owed her. She said I'd be a useless friend if I didn't. I declined and she shot me out again, saying things that were unnecessary and I tried to not repeat. I'd had enough. This had already been stressful for me and I had been dragged into it. I messaged Adam, sending him some screenshots, asking if he'd please make her stop lashing out. She was heartened, but I didn't start the thing straight. I didn't get a reply to him today, where he apologized profusely. He told me she'd done this to another friend before me, and this was the straw that broke the camel's back for him, and he was going to call off the wedding until they'd been reconciled together. I thanked him for being understanding, but a few hours later, Cassie and her friends started harassing me and threatening me. It's been horrible. My boyfriend is urging me to cut out Casey, but I can't help feeling like an asshole. If I made time if I made time to learn, this whole situation wouldn't been happening. So does it make me an asshole and I'm being selfish? He's reassured me that I'm not, but I could really do with an outside perspective. Okay, this is wild because honestly, asking someone to do 8 cakes for free, well, I guess it could be considered a wedding gift, but still, it's a lot of money and a lot of time taken from their day-to-day life. Then, rethinking their order and saying, give me 8 cakes, 3 tire cakes, and much more decorated than what was originally planned. I don't know. I think it's like she trapped her in an agreement and they decided to add more things to it. I mean, if she maybe the bride, the Cassie, invited more people than she originally thought 8 cakes would fit, and decided that maybe it would be much more manageable and more people would get their cake if there were all 3 tire. And as OP here describes, they could learn how to do tire cakes, but they would need to be more simplistic design than the bride wanted, and the bride disagreed. I mean, you're already getting this for free. I don't know what else you want. Everything else would be far too expensive. I mean, I recently bought a cake for a birthday for my friend. It wasn't too expensive, but it cost a lot of money. I mean, yeah, if you saying this is price for a cake, I would agree, but still, it's still money, and she gets 8 cakes for free. I don't know what's right. would want more. Verdict was not the asshole. That was the comments on that post. I have seen a lot of what the F wedding drama on here, but this one takes the never mind. Not the asshole. Someone replied to this. This is exactly what the fuck the drama, and OP needs to send one text, stop harassing me or I will call the police for harassment. That needs to be the end of it. If she or her friends doesn't stop calling the police, you have all the text to back it up. Well, it's not really much of harassment, and I mean, OP didn't even want to go out there in this case. So I think OP wouldn't really call the police on their friend because they still consider them pretty close, but not a bad idea. Another comment, not the asshole. Block her minions. You do not need this kind of harassment in your life. Yeah, I mean, if I was really petty, I would send one and only cake, and just because, I don't know, if I had the time and free will and enough pettiness in my body, I would make one tiny cake. I would actually make a cupcake. I would make 8 cupcakes and send it to her and do them in a design that she probably would have wanted. But for a cupcake, you don't need to be much. You don't need much material, and you need much less, decoration for them. So I would make 8 tiny cupcakes and send it to her on her wedding, if it's a wedding what's happening, and if I really hated this person. But I don't think that the old people did it. Another commenter. Not the asshole. Your boyfriend is right. Cassie is not your friend, and honestly, Adam is making the right call by postponing the wedding at all. I mean, yeah, if Adam is like a non-confrontational person or the person who values different things than Cassie, and Cassie like making a point of doing all of this to OP, I don't know, maybe they're not that compatible, and maybe Adam is seeing this, but we don't know much. And OOP updated the next day, February 23, 2021. Same post. Edit update. Oh my gosh, I fell asleep last night after posting this and didn't expect to wake up to respond anything like this. Thank you so much everyone for taking time to respond. I'll try and find time to respond to some comments later. To touch on a few things I have seen mentioned. Cassie is now cut out as are her friends. People saying I was being a doormat were completely right, and those few saying I need therapy also were. I have been actively looking for a therapist exactly quiz. I used to be good at recognizing behavior akin to this, but lockdowns have taken a toll on my mental health. Yes, I get it. One point is being a good friend who helps out, even if it's like taking advantage of you, but you're willing to do that for a friend. And another point is when the friend recognizes this and takes a lot more advantage of you than you were permitted them before. So yes, good for her. Good for OOP. A few people mention a contract style situation with a friend discount. I would definitely do some thinking on that idea to try and help avoid situations like this happening again. For those saying I shouldn't have contacted Adam, I did on the sole basis that this was his wedding, so I stand by my choice to contact him. What was mentioning getting the police involved, if any further streets happen, I will. I have documented everything that's happening so far just in case. Thank you again for taking that time to hear me out, support me and give me judgment. I really appreciate it. Okay. Um yeah, I think that's all that she has to do. She didn't post any other updates. I checked the original account. You're not permitted to comment on LinkedIn posts, contact the OOP or comment on LinkedIn posts. It's a rule 7 of best of Reddit updates. But I decided to check out the original poster, and I mean their account is Throwaway. It's literally named Throwaway the Cake. So yes, no further updates. Someone in the comment mentioned that she shouldn't have contacted Adam, and I don't think that's like, yeah, she may have overreached with that because I don't know if I ever would have contacted someone. I think I would have just had contact with that because I don't know if I'm already not friends with the person, I don't care what happens in their life. But maybe she was good friends with Adam as well, but she didn't like OP didn't mention that they didn't like mention it at all. So maybe she was worried about their. I keep assuming that it's OP. She. Let's hope because I don't want to misgender anyone. Let's read some comments here. All I'm gonna say is there's a reason vendors charge more for weddings. I don't think that's the reason, but maybe there's commentaries that reply to this, I'm a seamstress. I'm good. I want to do wedding dresses. Not even honestly, especially not for my own sister. There are always just way too many emotions involved. Oh yeah, maybe for that reason. But yes, wedding cakes and wedding stuff like that, you can. I mean, honestly, I think customers will be chill to you about anything about if there is a type of person. Because honestly, if I was doing a wedding and I had to make to like order wedding cake, I wouldn't really care how much about how it looks, or I would honestly just care about the taste and I don't know. So at least I like it, and there's no allergens in it. But I don't know. Another commenter. I bake occasionally, and the amount of time and money that would go into a three tiers cake would kill me. It takes me about 5 or so hours for a simple one tire. Two-layer cakes feels nice frozen in the car. Usually costs me at least one like 500 sorry $50 in materials. Yes, and that's not even accounting for money. And someone also commented, she had to tell Adam, it is important to have a 360 view of who you're marrying, especially when there is a photo others. Yes, I mean, I would have wanted to know. I like the concept in general, but yes, I would have wanted to know what my partner was like to other people that are not me. Because there's going to be one day, like it can happen. It's not a 100%, but sometimes people get tired of other people, and one day like someone close to you will wake up and they will not feel the same emotions that they felt to you yesterday, and they're going to become a different person. So it's like necessary to know what is happening around you and what are people like to others. Okay, let's move to the next story. This story is titled Am I the asshole for telling my parents that if they kill my brother money, I will stop giving them money? Ooh, family drama. My F32 brother, 35, is a trash. He has multiple baby mamas and is deadbeat. He also is the apple of my mom's eye. He can do no wrong and is just misunderstood. My parents are tired and on a fixed budget. I do well for myself and I help them out. I give them maybe $500 a month to help with groceries and bills. Every once in a while, I will give them extra for an unexpected expense. No questions asked. My mom asked me for $2,000. I sent it to her. Strangely enough, around to my brother at the family wedding, I had been told he could not afford to attend because it was a destination wedding. Weird. Funny story, he actually missed the wedding because he hooked up with some rando on an excursion and went to their resort. It was our cousin's wedding and my aunt was pissed. She had to make special arrangement to get him included on the trip since he only got the money last minute. She said my mom shouldn't have given him the money if he wasn't even going to show up. Then she shut up after she saw the look on my face. I enjoyed the wedding, I had a great time. When I got home, I went to see my parents. I asked my mom why she had asked for the $2,000. She lied and said something for the house. I asked what, she couldn't say. I told her what my aunt said. I told her and my father that from now on I wanted receipts for any money I gave them. I said I have no problem having them, but I will be damned if I work my ass off for her to give my money to my piece of shit brother. She started crying and my dad said that they weren't children and didn't answer to me. I agreed and walked out. I didn't talk to them for 2 months. My aunt called me yesterday and told me that my parents were thinking of going to the food bank since they didn't have any money. I said I had given them 2,000 couple months ago and that it was more than my family of those three spent on food on the time. She said I knew damn well they had given my money to my brother. I told her that he should probably pay them back then. She said I was being a bitch. Am I the asshole? Absolutely not, because what the fuck? If mother knew that she did something wrong, why would she lie and tell where the money went to? Because, I mean, she knew that, Zoe didn't want the money to go to the brother, and they still did it. And when they said that they weren't children, they didn't answer to her, she went like, well, okay, you don't answer to me, so I won't answer to you anymore. And yeah, I don't think she's an asshole. Honestly, I don't. It's a bit of assholish that she almost cut off contact with them because they gave money to her brother. But further on, I would just keep sending them small amounts of money. not a big amount. Like, if they are asking for like, I don't know, $2,000, I would ask for them to give me a receipt, but anything else, and I mean, I probably would have still given the money because I'm soft like that. And I mean, if I had the money, I would want to repay my parents. And even if my sister was like this, I would still want for her to to not suffer. But I doubt my sister would ever be like that for us because having several baby mamas, I mean, I think at least after a small while you would know how to use protection or at least know not to, create more problems for everyone else. But I guess that's what some people are like. And I can't really fault the OP for not giving her parents money. But I'm kind of conflicted because, well, she could at least drop groceries for them, I think. If she really didn't want to give them money but wanted to help them anyway. And then they wouldn't really do anything with groceries, say. I mean, they couldn't invite the brother to their dinners, but at least you would know that something of those groceries would, still fall back to them. Someone in the comments, "Okay, you're not the asshole, your parents are. They have created this monster and now you're supporting him. They're using you as cash capital. Yes, it's true they don't ask for you, but if you're putting the bills and they done well, better tell you where the money is going. And your aunt calling you a bitch is funny. If she cares so much about your parents, she should be footing the bill. Which I highly doubt because people are always want to talk but never to sign the check. Stand your ground and let them suffer a little so they understand. They won't die over eating some food from the bank for once. Yeah, I mean, food banks aren't all that bad. I don't have food banks around here, but if the food bank is cool, they don't act like they don't accept any perishables, and they would usually just buy, even if the donations are in cash, they would buy still non-perishable food so people can take it and store, or the food bank can store it as long as they need. So yes, another commenter, not the asshole. If your mom truly believes she had done no wrong, why did she repeatedly lie to you? She doesn't even have the conviction of purpose to justify her actions. She chose to steal from you to support your brother. She can live with the choice and the loss of income for it. And if your aunt is so passionate about your parents' plight, she just hosted a destination wedding for kids. She can surely support her sister in her hour of need, right? It's what family would do. Another commenter. It's easy for your aunt to call you names and show you under the past for not helping your parents out, but I can see her stepping up and forking over cash to your parents, as that she knows them well that they will give to your brother either, not the asshole. Yes, actually, I thought about it and I had a thought that I don't think the parents actually contacted the OP. I don't know. OP said that she didn't talk to them for 2 months, but she didn't say who cut off the contact. I'm actually curious who did that. Another commenter that OP replies to, they had the money to go to the destination wedding themselves, but not enough food. OP replied, they did not attend. And also, another commenter, uh, I guess it's not no question to ask then. OP replied, if I found out my dad was spending it in Prague, I would also cut them off. Yes, I don't know. And the page didn't really reply to anyone else, just those two comments. I would, like, if the post was fresh, I would ask if she cut them off or if the parents cut the OP off, because it really plays a big role if the OP is as whole. Because if they cut OP off, I would understand. If OP cuts them off, it's kind of as hellish, I think, because yes, they did a bad thing. Yes, they are supporting OP's as whole for brother, but she shouldn't just abandon them. She could just, send them groceries. She could even like order groceries to deliver to their place. They didn't do it, but I don't know enough. Let's move on to the next story. This story is titled Am I the asshole for offering two different kinds of cake at our wedding? My husband Josh 29F, actually think it was supposed to be an M, but okay, and I 27F just had our wedding a couple of weeks ago, and we mostly got good feedback until today. We have heard that a lot of people have been smug talking the cake behind our backs. Jason and I are originally were going to have a smaller wedding at the resort. We were fortunate enough to be given some money to invite extra guests, so we decided to expand the wedding and have some of our second cousins and their kids and some friends that we otherwise didn't get to see as often. We were on a budget, so we decided to keep the fancy cake, the cutting cake for the pictures, not the real cake, for immediate family and the pastor and a few members of the wedding party that we have known for the longest. He gave them a cake in boxes to take home so they wouldn't be eaten in front of everyone else. Minus the pastor because he flew out from a weight and he's vegan, so he couldn't eat the dinner and we wanted him to have something to eat before it got too late. He cut a couple sheet cakes. One was vanilla and buttercream with rosettas that there were. And then there was another sheet of cake of pineapple chocolate chunk, especially for Josh's side of his family, because they spend a lot of time in Florida. I found out from talking with family, there was a lot of full slices left behind people's plates of the pineapple cake, which the service would not take home with them, so we noticed you can see it in a lot of pictures. We were having too much fun to notice at the time we loved catching up with all our guests. Apparently, Josh's family did not like the cake like we thought they would, and there have been some unkind voices behind our backs. He got a text from Josh's uncle that wasn't meant for us to see, and it really stung. We are unsure where to go from here and what to say. Today did not go off like we hoped, but we think they are being unnecessarily mean. By the way, there was a full dinner, three kinds of cheese, and even Monterey Jack, well, but and an open bar that didn't close until late, so I feel like we were pretty good to our guests on a shoestring budget. Tell Jar to get out two different flavors of cake at our wedding, and my asshole. Well, the general opinion of this was not the asshole, there's a flare, but I'm actually curious who makes a chocolate pineapple cake because it's not the first like flavor that comes to my mind. I mean, they did a classic for a first cake. One was vanilla and buttercream with rosettas, and then there was another sheet of cake of pineapple chocolate chunk. No, especially for John's side of family because they spend a lot of time in Florida. And I think it's very nice to make decisions like this on stereotypes alone, because they're not they're not like specifically from Florida. Spend a lot of time in Florida. Doesn't mean that they call their pineapples in chocolate. I mean, I think it may be a good cake. It may be a nice cake, especially if you don't like take actual pineapple. Maybe use something like caramelized pineapple. Then I think it might actually be good, but not like fresh pineapple. I mean, we don't know, but still. She matches reserve with cheese plates. I mean, I don't know. I don't think, like, so P is an asshole. It's not like a big thing. Someone didn't like the cake. Boo hoo. But, still. And they, like, I don't know what to say here. Let's read the comments. I don't think the complaints were about the serving sheet cake, which is totally common at weddings, but rather about the flavor combination chocolate and pineapple. It's like you made a random choice based on a bizarre assumption of what people eat in Florida. According to my husband, who used to live in Florida, chocolate pineapple is not a Florida thing. Instead of asking the guests you were trying to cater to. And it sounds like you served a pineapple chocolate cake only to Josh family instead of asking what they wanted. You're not the asshole for having two cakes, but if you didn't give guests an option and then got upset when the cake you thought they wanted wasn't eaten, then yes, you're the asshole. Edit from your comments, it's clear that we decided who got which cake and expecting them to trade plates if they were unhappy. So yeah, you're the asshole. Yes, if Papi really did decide to give them cakes and expected them to switch, no. Okay, what everyone should do when they are doing like several flavors or desserts, like different types of desserts. I have been to several weddings, to baptize and to stuff like that. If there are a lot of different types of desserts, you don't like place a plate in front of guests and expect them to swap if they don't like something. Guests don't want to be rude, so they don't say things like that. They will just like either don't eat the dessert or they will like I don't know be mean about it, but not trade. Instead, there is a table with all the kind of desserts, and guests can come up and take the dessert. Sometimes yes, sometimes someone might not take the dessert, but if everyone is so polite, each will take only one plate and the rest can be taken too. So yes, OP is probably I don't know how they cut the asshole player because all the comments I'm reading they are like they're the asshole. You're the asshole. You didn't get a vegan meal for a pastor who flew a long distance to officiate. He openly distributed three cakes which very clearly were of different levels and choose who got what. He served one side of the family before the altar. He assumed that people could trade cake flavors with strangers.
He decided that chocolate pineapple would be the best flavor for his family because they're spending time in Florida. What? Honestly, I'd say you're a bad host rather than that than an ass because you seem to have meant well, but your planning decisions are inhospitable and indefensible. Yes, appears not the asshole specifically, they had good intentions, but I mean, good intentions aren't always right. I'm going to be laughing at even Monterey Jack for days, so thank you for that. Everyone is asshole. You went about this in a very strange way. Usually, when there are multiple desired options to why didn't people get to choose? You could have had the service ask people what they wanted or serve them the cakes for a buffet from a buffet table. Yes, that's what I was talking about. Granted, you would have run out of vanilla buttercream anyway because chocolate pineapple is such a strange flavor combination. The problem isn't your flavor of choice as much as forcing it on half your guests. Family sucks because they shouldn't have let their complaints get back to you, so. Also, not having real milk for a pasta was shitty. Caterers offer vegan options. Yes, I mean, even a salad might have been good, and ordering even a small, like maybe a cake, but small cake for a pasta, so it would be vegan, I think would have been good. You don't need a big cake, just one serving type of cake, so the pastor can enjoy it as wedding too. Another comment, info, what were the other two cheeses? Someone replied, I'm dying to know which cheeses this person thinks are less haunted in Monterey Jack. I don't think Opil replied to this, so let's move on. Another commenter, you are the asshole. You fed your pastor non-vegan cake, managed to confuse veg and vegan to the cutters, except the strangers expected strangers to try cakes if they didn't like what they were served, and for some reason some people from Florida eat chocolate pineapple cake. Like the cake is a list of your problems, but it's really a super oddity assumption to me. Florida men wouldn't even eat a pineapple chocolate cake. This feels as you caring very little about your guests. You don't have to like prioritize them above you, but you made some well choices that definitely makes you an asshole. Yes, I do believe that their choices in their assumption in general were I think, racist and or maybe at least ethnic. You know, ethnically they weren't really supportive. And making such because someone is from Florida that someone likes pineapple. I mean, does pineapple even come from Florida? I never really wondered about that, but now I'm starting to wonder. Like, if I assume that if anyone liked pineapple in their cake, I would assume that it's Hawaiian people because there's Hawaiian pizza with pineapple. But I would be quickly corrected with one tiny Google search or asking people what the most general cake flavors they would have chosen. Actually, yes, I would have done the same cake for everyone because why not? Why make everything complicated? Info. Did it decide which cakes each person would get chocolate? Chocolate pineapple or vanilla buttercream, or did they get to pick which ones they wanted? Opie replied, no, we made sure the one person on Josh's side who has an allergy got the buttercream. But we distributed the buttercream first to my side of the family and the pineapple second to Josh's side of the family. So nobody as big of eaters and more health conscious, so we always planned for serving them second. The way the tables were set up, it was the caterer suggested. And after that was gone, figuring people would have tried pieces if they needed. We were going to add the RSVP checkbox to the right of the cake next to the meal choices, but we decided against it because we didn't want anyone to feel overwhelmed, or as Josh calls it, decision paralysis, which is what I got when picking between chocolate and pineapple. Minus 1.9 thousand apples. Yes, if you already got to check this thing where people can choose what they're going to eat, why not as a cake? I really thought that they could make like tiny menus so everyone can choose, but I thought that if they were on a budget, why just that's why they didn't do that. But if they already had the thing, why didn't they add the cake? Why? Just why? Also, expecting someone to trade cakes when one side of the family is given cakes first and later, and also side of the family is given cakes like second, I don't think there would be much left of the vanilla buttercream cake to trade with people. I don't know what to say to them, what did they expect. Honestly, the situation overall is weird. I mean, I don't think there was an asshole who make for what they asked because their questioning was, "Am I the asshole for offering two different kinds of cake at our wedding?" They didn't offer the two different kinds of cake at their wedding. They assumed that someone would like one cake and the other cake. Okay, their mistake was indeed bringing two different kinds of cakes to the wedding. The pineapple chocolate cake was a mistake of nature. They shouldn't have brought it. Everyone should have gotten one cake, a flavor cake. I think that's what they should have done. Anyway, let's move on. And the last story for today, because we're keeping it short a bit. I'm the asshole for recording my mother's in love insults and showing them to my husband. For context, my husband 31M and I 29F have been married for 3 years. Throughout our relationship, his mother, let's call her Jane, has never liked me. She's always making snide remarks and passive-aggressive comments, but she's careful to do it when he isn't around. Whenever I bring it up to him, he says I'm exaggerating or misinterpreting her. Things came to a head a month ago during a visit to Jane's house. Jane was in top form, making little jabs about my cooking, my job, and even the way I dress. I was at my breaking point, so I decided to take matters into my own hands. I started using the voice memo app on my iPhone to record our interactions whenever I was alone with Jane. Over the next days, I managed to capture several of her comments. She says things like, he must really love you to put up with your cooking, and your job is so cute, it must be nice to not have any real responsibilities. Last weekend, after Jane left our house for another visit, I decided it was time to show him the trust. I played the recordings for him. He looked stunned and didn't say anything for a few minutes. Then he said he couldn't believe his mom would say those things. But then, instead of being angry at Jane, he turned on me. He accused me of violating his mother's privacy and said I went too far by recording her without her knowledge. He felt betrayed that I didn't talk to him first before resorting to this. Oh my gosh, what a delighter. I tried to explain that I had talked to him multiple times and he didn't believe me, but he wasn't having it. He packed a bag and went to stay at his parents' house to cool off. He's still upset with me and hasn't come to home yet. I don't know if I went too far or if this was the wake up call Jane needed. So I was also for recording my mother's in love insults and showing them to my husband. Okay, so she's not the asshole. The husband and Jane are the assholes because Jane is doing all this to drive OP away, and the husband just takes it because he doesn't really care about his wife. He doesn't take her opinion in mind. He doesn't really care what she thinks. He only cares that his mother's privacy was violated, but he doesn't care that his wife's feelings were violated. He doesn't care about his wife. There's an edit. I posted this in Emma's asshole, but it got removed. Also, thanks to the comments, I realized this is my wake-up call. Thanks for the support, I will get an update. I'm not sure how updates work here on Reddit, but here is an update. It has led to a divorce. My husband uses Reddit in his social post. He called me and told me it was over, which is insane because it couldn't be me the one to ask for a divorce after this situation. It should have been me the one to ask for a divorce after this situation. When he wasn't mad at me anymore, he came back and stayed with me for 2 weeks. We talked about everything that was left to talk about, but we didn't get to any agreements. And I think it was completely over. It was completely over. We have not signed the papers yet, but we are living separately. And yeah, he's staying with his parents. I'm living in our house, but I don't want to live here anymore. Thanks for everyone's support. Yeah, I'm actually glad that she dumped him. And he's such a mommy because he's chosen his mother over his wife who has not done a single bad thing for him. I mean, if anything, I can't choose my parents over everyone else, but it's still. Sometimes your parents are not right and you shouldn't support them in this. Like the one story where OP didn't give their parents any more money. Someone commented, your husband is gaslighting you and has been for several years. You have to prove your mother-in-law. If you having to prove your mother-in-law harasses you and insults you behind his back, and then even when he learns the truth, he blames you for recording it. You shouldn't be trying to explain your side to him. You should be kicking his ass to the curb right now. The fact that he left and went to her house because he is mad at you is insane. He either has been messed up in the head and by this lady, or he's a narcissist himself. At least he's messed up and adopted someone or her narcissistic tendencies. It's not normal and it's not okay. He should be begging you for forgiveness right now and finding a therapist to unlearn some of this toxic behavior he's carrying around. If it was me, I wouldn't be continuing in this marriage if he wasn't willing to profusely apologize, try and maintain strong boundaries with crazy mama, and start working on intense counseling. I wouldn't want to be married or subjected to someone with such unhealthy and toxic behavior. Yes, I wouldn't also. Not as one also commented, not the asshole. Your husband sounds like a spineless mama's boy. Yeah, Six is exactly what he is. He has always taken his mother thoughts into account. He also has always listened to his mother's opinion, but not what everyone else said. I mean, we're a bit similar with the husband in that regard, but I don't know. I think I would have put my foot down if my parents started bitching about my partner or anything of the sort. So yes, I was as unhappy that the OP dumped her husband. Sad for her that she had to live with this for 3 years. Like she won't get those 3 years back. But I'm happy for her that she's finally free of them. Okay, besties, we're ending things here today. I hope you all stay safe, stay hydrated, that no one ever accuses you of being an asshole, and I hope to see you all next time here. Bye!